One of the great parts about living here in the Pacific Northwest is we have a beautiful environment, but that comes with a lot of natural hazards, right? We live in earthquake country, which is one of those major disasters that most of us think about. But we also have all kinds of other weather-related type of emergencies that arise, things from snowstorms, wind events, flooding, landslides. It's really a pretty long list. My name is Carl Lunak, and I'm the emergency manager here for the City of Bellevue. My primary job responsibilities as the emergency manager is to prepare city staff and residents to be ready and prepared for an emergency, and then to coordinate a response and our recovery efforts. No matter how great of a job the city does in preparing staff and first responders for emergencies, it really requires that the community as a whole prepare for emergencies. There just aren't enough first responders to cover every scenario and every situation. Each of us can do just a number of kind of simple, easy steps to be prepared and ready for when disaster strikes. Planning is one of those easy steps that we can all do to prepare for an emergency. It's a great place to start because, well, it's free. It just takes a little bit of your time to get going. One of the biggest challenges on all emergencies is communication. So starting with a basic communication plan can be incredibly helpful in the middle of a disaster. That communication plan, we've got links from our website that you can go to pull up a template and fill it out, but it's basically capturing contact information, email addresses, all those different ways that we communicate. The next planning piece to that is just putting together a plan for you and your loved ones. What are you going to do if you have to stay home and stay secluded? A lot of us learned how to do that over the COVID response, what life was like kind of staying home. Most of us have enough supplies and things in our homes to be comfortable for a period of time on our own, but to take that a step further, when you have a plan in place and you have supplies already set, it really allows you to calm yourself and take some time, look over your plan and respond much more rationally rather than in a panic sort of mode. When it comes to preparing emergency supplies at home, there's a couple of different kits or ways to look at it. One is if you can stay in your home, that is obviously preferable. The general recommendation is to be prepared for 2 weeks to be on your own or not have outside assistance. The second type of supply that we often talk about is an emergency kit to go, or a grab and go bag, or an evacuation bag. It's what you need to be able to have on hand so you can grab it in an emergency on short notice, leave your home, and at least have a handful of basic supplies to kind of get you through. Lieutenant Camry Olson is going to demonstrate and walk us through a sample kit to talk about some of the specifics that you want to include in your grab and go kit.
Hi, I'm Lieutenant Camry Olson, and I am the Public Information Officer with the Bellevue Fire Department. And as Carl mentioned, one of the important things that you need to have is a go kit. And there's some general things to remember about these go kits before we get into specifics of what kind of supplies you want in your go kit. You might want several different kinds of go kits, and so there's the one that you're going to grab leaving your house. So we're thinking about the big disaster, your house is not safe to be in anymore. You're going to have to grab some supplies in a hurry that you've prepared ahead of time in this go kit. You might want to have one at work too. You may get stuck at work, so you might want to have a smaller go kit that you keep at work. And then lastly, it's always a good idea to have some supplies in your car. You never know when you're going to get stranded during a storm, or there's a huge collision that happens that strands you for a while. So it's good to have one in your car. When we're talking about the one that we keep in our house that you're going to take, think about having supplies that are going to last you for 2 weeks, and that is your entire family. So that is a long time. The things that we're going to go through today are just samples of things that you're going to have. This is in no way a kit that's going to last 2 full weeks, but that's what you're going to want, is supplies that are going to last you that long. And then think about it being very personalized to your family. So every go kit is going to look different because some of us have little children at home, some of us have pets, some of us take care of our grandparents. And so go kits need to be tailored individually to each situation. So let's talk about some of the supplies that you want. And one thing that I had heard is to think about, hey, if you're going to go out camping, what are all the things you're going to need to take from your home to last out there on a camping trip out in the wilderness? One of the first necessities is water. So you're going to want a supply of water, and there's several different ways to have that. There's the individual bottles like we see here, and make sure you have enough to last again for every member of your family for that 2 weeks. They also have bigger containers that you can store a larger amount of water in one container. So there's lots of different options when you look at water. One of our next basic necessities is going to be food. And here we have just granola bar, simple things that you can throw in this go kit to take with you. They can be snacky foods like granola bars. I personally really like Pop-Tarts and don't eat them normally. I'd probably have those in my go kit. You can have non-perishable items. We all love cheese, but cheese would not be a good thing to have for your go kit. But macaroni and cheese is a perfect one. So you could have macaroni and cheese, other box things, canned goods, soups, stews, things like that that can be hearty and filling, and again, that can feed your whole family. You need something to eat the food with. So we've got these little compact kind of emergency preparedness utensils. You need some bowls, plates, some glasses or little cups. And don't go for the paper plates and things like that. Go for things that can be reused. And so they can be a little bit more compact for your go kit, and you can wash them every day. I know for me, not a day goes by that I don't wake up and have coffee in the morning. So even though this may not be a necessity for everybody, for some of us it is. So you can pack your coffees, your teas, your sugar to go with it. Always good to think about a supply like that. And then our pets. So if we have to escape with our dogs, our cats, our birds, they need food too. So make sure you have a supply for them in your go kit as well. When we talk about canned goods, can opener. It's always good to have a can opener on hand. And these are nice and compact, not the big kind fancy that we keep in our house, but have a can opener ready. So those are kind of the basic necessities, but we might need shelter and warmth. So you can have maybe a small tent in your go kit, thin sleeping bags. I wouldn't take the big poofy ones. They take up a lot of room. There are these emergency blankets that can help you stay warm. You may even just wrap these up around yourself in your car. Your car may end up being your shelter. There's other things, these little hand warmers and foot warmers that they sell in any outdoor stores. These are really helpful to have around. Good clothing, nice warm jackets, warm shirts, boots. It's good to have some really sturdy either boots or shoes in your go kit. I keep some even in my car. You just never know if you're driving around, running errands, and you're in flip-flops, and all of a sudden you're in the middle of a big collision. You have to get out of your car. There's glass everywhere, so keep some sturdy boots or shoes in your go kit as well as in your car. A tarp can be really helpful. This could actually end up being what you sleep on and then get something else to cover you. Another necessary item to talk about is sanitation. Stacks of toilet paper. You need to make sure you have enough toilet paper with you. A thing that can be helpful is if, again, you're having to leave your house, is to have buckets and some kitty litter. You can actually use that as a makeshift toilet. You also want to have something to wash your hands with, so those sanitation wipes or even the gel that we are all used to using right now. So just a good supply of sanitation materials. Some more important supplies that we want to think about are things that are for our first aid and health. So a little first aid kit. This one's pretty small, but I recommend having a decent first aid kit in your go kit. And then we might need our medications and even vitamins. And so you can pack those in these containers. And I recommend in your house, we don't normally we can't keep a supply of our medication in the Go Kit. Have them readily accessible. So if you have to leave in a hurry, you can throw them in. A toothbrush and some toothpaste, and these little compact ones. There's even a little small thing of toothpaste in there. For those of us that may need glasses or reading glasses, have your glasses supplied. Other people, it may be dentures. You need to take your dentures, your hearing aids, any other things that you need to get by, your other medications if you're diabetic, to have those things ready to go. Then there's another category of just generally some tools and supplies like that. So duct tape is always handy in the home and in your Go Kit to have. We have a 5-piece breakaway knife set that's pretty compact. No Go Kit is complete without some sort of light. Here's a flashlight that's battery operated. So for any electronics, including flashlights, make sure you have an extra supply of batteries included in the Go Kit. Another kind of flashlight is this one that is powered by a hand crank. So you wind it up, and then you can turn it on, and it lasts for a short time, but then you just keep cranking it up. A radio is really useful to have. You can tune in and try to get updates on the status of the emergency that you're involved in right now. Some other supplies, some rope, work gloves. So you want warm gloves. We talked about those earlier, but you also want to have some work gloves. And in the home, in your Go Kit, if you have to leave the home because it's been damaged, it's a good idea to turn off the utilities. And so one of these multi-use tools is really handy to have in that Go Kit. We all have our electronic devices that we're going to hopefully have on us. And part of what Carl talked about earlier was a communications plan. So there may be somebody who lives out of state that you need to connect with. So we want to be able to power our electronic devices for that emergency communications. So this is an extra charger that we can plug into. There's all different kinds available out there. One of the necessities these days, anywhere you go, in a disaster or not, are the N95 masks. So have some kind of supply of masks available for your whole family to be able to use. So these are kind of the necessities, but this is going to be a very stressful situation for the whole family. And so there's some items that kind of fall into that comfort category, entertainment, comforting items. And so a lot of us are readers. I know my favorite author is James Herriot. I'm going to make sure I have a supply of books because I can read these over and over again. Somebody else may want a different kind of book. Games for the family to play. There's card games are easy to pack up. For the little ones, you may have a coloring book and crayons for them to play with. And it can be even as simple as a favorite family photo that just makes us happy to look at in this stressful time. I know for me, I'm a big Seahawks fan, and I thought about, should I throw in my 12th man flag in my Go Kit? And I thought, let's make it a little bit more useful, and I can cover warmth and comfort at the same time by throwing in my Seahawks blanket. So these are just some general ideas, and again, there's some points to remember that you need supplies for 2 weeks. You need to make sure your whole family, including your pets, are covered in these supplies. Go through it every 6 months so you can rotate out the food and the water, and just ensure that you know what's in there, and talk about these things with your family and have that plan ahead of time. One of the things that to remember when you're assembling all of these supplies is that you're going to need something to put it in and transport it. And one example that we have is this tote that you can see under the table. You want something that's just easy to grab. It's nice when it has wheels and a handle that you can just wheel it out, but really whatever works best for you. So lastly, I want to thank everybody for wanting to be prepared. And as you're assembling your Go Kits, there is some great information out there. And one website that is fantastic with lots of great information about Go Kits as well as other disaster preparedness is ready.gov. And we do link to that on the City of Bellevue's emergency management page. So again, thank you for wanting to be prepared, and be safe out there.